For centuries, Egypt was ruled by a king who claimed not only the throne, but divinity itself. He declared, "I am your greatest lord." People did not merely obey him, they believed in him. At that time, Egypt was the most powerful state in the world, settled along the banks of the Nile, where crops shone like gold and cities echoed with grand palaces, built not just of stone but of arrogance and pride. Yet within this mighty empire lived a nation deprived of light, enslaved and oppressed, Bani Israel. Their men carried stones day and night, constructing palaces, while their women were kept alive only so the chain of slavery could continue. Pharaoh deliberately kept them weak, knowing that a broken nation can never shake a throne. One night, Pharaoh's sleep was shattered by a dream. He saw a fire rising from the direction of Jerusalem, burning the homes of Egypt, while the houses of Bani Israel remained untouched. For the first time, Pharaoh felt vulnerable. Astrologers and scholars were summoned to interpret the dream, when they declared, "A boy will be born among Bani Israel, who will become the cause of your kingdom's downfall." Pharaoh's pride turned into fear. Immediately, Pharaoh issued a ruthless decree. Every newborn boy of Bani Israel must be killed. Swords moved from city to city. Mothers' arms were emptied, and thousands of innocent lives were taken. During this era of brutality, Moses, peace be upon him, was born. His mother lived in constant fear, yet by Allah's command, she placed her infant son into the river Nile, trusting completely that he would be protected. His sister followed silently, watching every moment to ensure he reached safety. At the riverbank, Pharaoh's wife, Lady Asia, saw the chest. Mercy filled her heart and she said, "Do not kill him." She sensed that this child was destined for something great, and thus began the protection of Musa's life. Musa was raised within the palace by a woman who gave him motherly love and shielded him from the dangers of the river. As time passed, Musa grew into adulthood, excelling in wisdom and knowledge. His first trial came when he witnessed two men fighting in the city, one an Israelite, the other an Egyptian. Musa struck the Egyptian without fear, and the incident became a mark of his courage and sense of justice. As Musa matured further, Allah granted him even greater wisdom and understanding. One day, he again saw two men fighting an Israelite and an Egyptian. The Israelite cried out for help, and that plea pierced Musa's heart. Without hesitation, Musa stepped forward and struck the Egyptian, who fell to the ground and did not rise again. Musa immediately realized a life had been taken and sought Allah's forgiveness. Allah forgave him, but Egypt did not. Panic spread through the city. Chaos erupted in Pharaoh's court, and Pharaoh ordered Musa's execution. Yet Allah's protection guarded his path. Caught between fear and hope, Musa left Egypt. The scorching desert, hunger, thirst, and hardship could not weaken his faith in Allah. Along the way, he reached a well where men were watering their animals, while two women stood aside, waiting patiently. Musa stepped forward, helped water their livestock, then sat beneath a tree and prayed, "My Lord, I am truly in need of whatever good you send down to me." Soon after, one of the women approached him and said her father had invited him to be thanked. She was the daughter of Prophet Shuaib, peace be upon him. Prophet Shuaib offered Musa work, and seeing his strength and trustworthiness, proposed that Musa marry his daughter on the condition that he serve for 8 years. Musa accepted. These years were not merely time spent. They were years of patience, humility, and spiritual growth. The former prince of Egypt became a shepherd, enduring solitude and softening his heart. When the term was fulfilled, Musa set out toward Egypt with his wife. It was night, the air was cold, and silence filled the desert. Musa saw light on a distant mountain and said to his wife, "Stay here. I will go and bring fire or ask for directions." As he approached, a voice called out, "O Musa, I am your Lord. Remove your sandals. You are in a sacred place. I have chosen you." Allah commanded him to go to Pharaoh, who had grown arrogant and rebellious. Musa prayed that his brother Harun be made his helper, and Allah accepted his request. Thus, Musa entered Pharaoh's palace with his brother. Pharaoh, wearing a face full of pride, asked, "Who is your Lord?" Musa replied, "My Lord is the one who gives life and causes death." Enraged, Pharaoh said, "You are mocking us. Show us proof." Moses, peace be upon him, and his brother Harun, peace be upon him, entered Pharaoh's palace. Pharaoh, filled with pride and arrogance, asked, "Who is your lord?" Musa replied with firm conviction, "My lord is the one who gives life and death, the owner of the heavens and the earth." Pharaoh shouted in anger, "Are you mocking me? Show me where this power comes from." He summoned the greatest magicians of Egypt. The magicians began their displays, turning ropes and wooden staffs into snakes. A wave of fear swept through the royal court, but Musa placed his staff on the ground, and by Allah's command it became a real serpent. That mighty serpent swallowed all the false snakes created by magic. The magicians immediately declared, "This is not magic, this is the power of Allah." They fell into prostration, yet Pharaoh's heart burned with even greater arrogance and rebellion. Pharaoh declared with disbelief, "I am your only Lord." The Quran tells us that Pharaoh drowned deeper into oppression, and Allah began sending signs of punishment upon him. A terrifying storm struck Egypt. Heavy rain and flooding destroyed crops. The land dried up, and livelihoods were ruined. When people thought relief had come, another sign followed. One punishment consumed every green thing on the land. Another covered people's bodies with tormenting lice. Every moment reminded them that this was Allah's power, not Pharaoh's strength. Then frogs emerged from every corner, and the water of Egypt turned red like blood. Fish died. The water became foul and unusable. Still, Pharaoh remained arrogant. He shouted, "This is all Musa's magic!" Yet Allah continued sending signs so Pharaoh and his people might take heed. During this time, Musa was commanded to lead Bani Israel out of Egypt at night. They left silently, abandoning their homes and lives, carrying little, no weapons, only faith in Allah's help. With unwavering belief and courage, Musa guided Bani Israel along a safe path, while Pharaoh and his army pursued them, intoxicated by their power. In every moment, Allah's might and Musa's guidance were clear. Musa led Bani Israel to the edge of the sea. The water appeared deep and terrifying, and behind them Pharaoh's army was closing in. Fear spread among the people, and they cried, "We are trapped. This water will decide our fate." Musa replied with unshaken faith, "Never. My Lord is with us. He will show us the way." Allah commanded Musa to strike the water with his staff. As the staff touched the sea, it split into two, and a dry path appeared between towering walls of water. The people cried out in awe. Fear remained, but faith grew stronger. Bani Israel stepped forward, trusting Allah's miracle. The water stood like walls on both sides, every drop bearing witness to Allah's power. Behind them, Pharaoh and his army saw the path and said, "We can do this too. No one can stop us." Blinded by arrogance, they entered the sea with their horses and soldiers. Then, Allah commanded the waters to return. The sea collapsed back into place. Pharaoh and his army were drowned from every side. Every horse and every soldier perished. At the moment of death, Pharaoh cried out, "I believe in the Lord of Bani Israel." But it was too late. His faith was not accepted. Allah preserved his body as a lesson for the world. In this miracle, the example of Lady Asa, Pharaoh's wife, is also remembered. Because of her faith, Allah protected her and granted her a place in paradise. This event shows that even the greatest arrogance is helpless before death. The salvation of Musa and Bani Israel proves that with faith in Allah's help, even the greatest oppression can be overcome. Pharaoh's tyranny, his magicians, and his cruelty all failed before Allah's power. This story is not only a lesson from the past, it is a reminder for today. Oppression, pride, and arrogance hold no value before Allah's command. The protection of Bani Israel, the faith of Musa, and the humiliating end of Pharaoh are forever written into history. After Pharaoh's destruction, Bani Israel were finally free. Released from fear and terror, they stepped into a new life, filled with gratitude, humility, and awareness of Allah's greatness. Musa taught his people that this freedom was possible only through Allah's mercy and obedience to him. Everything was new for them. A new land, new responsibilities, and a new path. Musa taught them discipline, justice, and obedience to Allah's commands. Every day carried a lesson. Avoid oppression, remain patient and grateful, and trust Allah completely. Those who were once slaves had become free people only through Allah's help. Musa reassured his people that Allah stands with them in every hardship, and those who trust him are protected. He reminded them that power, wealth, and thrones are not signs of greatness. True greatness lies in humility, faith, and obedience to Allah. The example of Lady Asia became a lesson for Bani Israel. She lived with faith and patience even in a house of tyranny and earned paradise. This proves that patience and faith in Allah's path are the greatest strengths, and even the most powerful tyrants are helpless before Allah's judgment. Bani Israel moved forward toward their new home beyond the sea, hearts full of gratitude, tongues engaged in prayer, and steps guided by faith. Everyone realized that oppression, arrogance, and worldly power are temporary, while Allah's power is eternal. Musa's leadership not only delivered them from slavery, but filled their hearts with knowledge, wisdom, and love for Allah. This story teaches us that even the greatest worldly power is limited. But with Allah's help and the light of truth, every form of oppression can be defeated. The story of Musa and Bani Israel will forever remain a lesson. True salvation and greatness lie only in faith, patience, and obedience to Allah.